Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today is a super exciting day. We got our wheels and tires in and we're on our way to pick up our lift kit. So just an update, did a little bit of work. Put the cowl back on here, put the windshield wipers back on, threw the antenna back on. We got our bumper mounted. We got the hood seal on. All the gaps look good. Put them hood latches on. These are the stock ones. Like I said, the JL ones made the hood sit up a little bit and I didn't like it. So we just went with the stock ones for now. Still waiting on our side marker light. Got the fender mounted. Just got to put the inner fender in there. After I get that side marker light in there. Let's see. Got this mounted. Put our windshield bracket on. And all of our gaps are looking super good. Everything is looking awesome. Very excited about this. So, stay tuned. We're gonna go head to rough country. We just got back home. We've got our lift kit in the back of the truck here. And as I said, we went with the rough country lift. It is the rough country X series 4-inch lift kit with the regular short arms, adjustable short arms, and went with the V2 shocks. So a little upgrade over the N3, but not quite the Vertex. Good mid-range shock. We're gonna see how that is. So I think we got our control arms here. Coil springs must be here. Hardware kit, track bar. Also got some shirts while I was there. Those are a bit cool. And there we go. So yeah, there's a lift kit. I got the wheels in here. Show you. So we went with Vision Nemesis, 111 wheel, -12 backspace. And I like them because they have this removable ring. It's not a beadlock wheel. I don't need a beadlock wheel. This is gonna be, you know, my wife's daily driver and weekend driver. We're gonna take it mild off-road. We're not gonna do anything crazy. So I just like the idea of being able to paint this ring. So we're gonna paint this blue to match the Jeep. We're gonna do that today. And then we can bolt these on here. But tires we went with are BFG KO2 all-terrains. Did the 315 7017s, load range C. I like load range C on the Jeep. Rides good, rides better than definitely load range D or E. All right, so here we are. We got the shop all cleaned up. Well, for the most part, we still got all of our masking on the cabinets and everything, but good enough for now. We're gonna go ahead and get these rings sanded down, ready for paint. Got all 5 of them here. Just gonna scuff them up, probably with a scuff pad, throw a little primer on them, and paint clear coat. Also these guys, gonna need a little more paint work, so I'm gonna start with these. A little more prep work, I mean. But I already degreased them, washed them out. Gonna go ahead, gonna wax and grease remove them, and then start getting into this. Probably gonna take that back with a little heavier sandpaper. sand it down a little bit smoother, and throw some primer on there. And then I'm gonna paint them. I'm gonna lightly sand all the flat spots to get our machined look, and then clear coat them. Got my sidekick here helping. Let's go ahead, open up, check out our control arms, our shocks, and see what we can and can't paint. All right, there they are, all laid out. You can definitely tell these are the front because we have that different joint on that one. These rear ones are just huge. Look at how dang beefy they are. Definitely glad I went with the full control arm and not the drop arm kit. A little bit more money, quite a bit more money, but I think we're gonna get definitely a better ride, definitely a better alignment, and we're not gonna have any issues down the road. All right, so there we are. We got everything all primed up and ready for paint. Everything got sanded down, 400 grit, used a scuff pad on these little hard to reach inner areas. Very time consuming. Did the inner part of the ARB with a scuff pad. Got everything's mask off, primed, ready to go. Got our shackles primed as well. And we are ready for our first coat of paint. So let's go ahead, get our mask on and get started. We're done with all the painting. I'm gonna go check that out, walk around. The control arms turned out awesome. The beadlock rings turned out great, simulated beadlock rings. But I pulled the tape off late last night. Yeah, and I think they turned out awesome. They look great. Got 2 coats of clear on everything, 3 coats of base, 3 very light coats. I'm so happy with the way the ARB differential covers turned out. They just look great. Look like they came from the factory like that. Rings turned out awesome. Good and glossy. Exactly what we want. And there's the front diff cover. Perfect. I love it. But I'm super happy with the way everything turned out. But over here, we are going to clean up this whole paint booth, get all this stuff off the workbenches, get all my masking tape off my cabinets, off my toolbox, off my tool cart, and get this place cleaned up. And we're gonna open up our lift kit boxes over here and lay out all of our parts. Alright, so there it is. We got everything all cleaned up. We got the Jeep in the garage. We got everything all laid out on our counter. Counter's all wiped down. That is our Rough Country 4-inch X Series lift kit with Rough Country monotube V2 shocks. Still got the control arm sitting up here. I just want to make sure they cure fully. I mean, it's been 12 hours, but you can tell I set the shackles down on the countertop and they kind of stuck to it a little bit. So I just want to make sure that they're fully cured before we go ahead and put them on. Everything came out so beautiful. But now we're gonna go ahead, jack up the Jeep, put on jack stands. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I got that stand out of here, got all my arms laid out. Gonna go ahead and start opening these boxes and see what we got inside. Alright, so there it is. We've got everything pulled out of the boxes, everything all laid out here on the workbench. Like I said, we got our arms that we painted. We got instructions for our 4-inch X Series suspension kit. We also have some, looks like Rough Country stickers. We'll see, maybe we'll put one on the windshield. We've got our front coil spring, rear coil springs, other front coil spring. I'm not sure what these are, I guess we'll find out. Rear track bar relocation bracket, hardware, rear sway bar end links. We got front brake line extensions, rear brake line extension lines, rear coil spring correction brackets, rear control arm end fittings, front control arm end fittings. Do have two different numbers here, so something to keep an eye on when we're installing it. Make sure we get the right one in the right spot. We got our front sway bar end links. They are the quick disconnect, so they do tie up out of the way, pin up out of the way. And we also have our rear shocks here. I love those V2 shocks. They look beautiful. And we have our front shocks. Bushings for the front shocks. Bushing set. And also our front adjustable track bar and instructions for installing it. So I love this kit. This kit looks like it's really well put together. It has everything you need. You know, brake line extensions, definitely a must, especially if you're gonna do any kind of off-roading with it or anything, or want to do any flexing, don't want them brake lines to get tight. And I love the adjustable control arms. Gonna be a little more difficult to put on than a kit without adjustable control arms, because obviously you just slap them on. So we're gonna have to do some adjusting and some tweaking to get them figured out, and with our angle finder. But I think this is gonna be a great kit once we get it on and get it all dialed in. I'm sure it's gonna be good. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're gonna start with is we're gonna get the back end disassembled. I'm gonna move the jack stands to the frame and get the control arms off, get the shocks off, sway bar, end links, the track bar as well. And I'm gonna wire wheel it a little bit and get it cleaned up, throw some gloss black on that, and get it ready to get put back together. I'm also going to clean up the frame a little bit while I'm down here, throw a little satin black on them. This thing came from Virginia, and I guess they got a lot of red dirt there. Not a fan because it looks like rust, but I don't know, just want to clean up the frame. We're doing this much work to it, you don't want it to look good. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we got most of the frame painted in semi-gloss black all the way back, taped up the bolts, also wire wheeled it, cleaned it up, and I think it's looking pretty good. Got the axle all cleaned up. I started spraying the axle in gloss black, and I bought a bunch of cans of gloss black, but it turns out one of the cans had a gloss black cap, but it was brown. So I've got half of a gloss brown axle and half of a gloss black axle. Semi-gloss in the frame again, all the way forward. Did the gas tank skid plate as well. It came out pretty nice. So now I'm gonna go ahead, pull the front axle down, and do the same thing up here to the front part of the frame. out of here and you can see, wow, that is a huge difference. Side-by-side comparison, that new one is absolutely massive. You can just tell it probably weighs almost twice as much. Definitely twice as much. Alright, so there's everything all done, all painted, masking removed. I think it turned out great. Love the way it looks like a brand new frame. Can't even tell. You mask it off good enough, well, it'll just look that much better. See, all the bolt heads look fresh. There's our nice freshly painted axle as well. And the back axle turned out awesome. That's about all for tonight. I'm gonna come back tomorrow morning and finish putting this entire lift kit together. But now's the fun part. Take a little bit longer to get it back together, but I don't have to clean anything else, so it should go together fairly easily. We get it back together, get the fender wells in there, wheels and tires, and maybe even take it for a spin. So I'll see you in the morning.